So this is Lost World as Knuckles. If you stand here for Knuckles' idle animation, one of them says that this place feels strange. Just like how he said that the Echidna village felt familiar. I mean, this place was technically built by the ancient Echidnas. The jungle area is the same geographical location as the Echidna village, only it's in the present. So we're back in this place. We've been here before at Sonic. I skipped a lot of this level using the spin dash jump. Normally you have to rely on walking along these things a lot more. Pressing the switch more than once to have to move the wall tiles in the right place so that they form a path is pretty annoying. I wish you just had to press them once. And this is another level that I got really lucky on, because I normally spend quite a bit of time here because it's a vertical level, and the radar doesn't really do well with vertical. But yeah, this level's small and compact. I didn't get to show it off, but it can be really annoying having to dig for emerald shards in Lost World. Because an exclamation point doesn't appear over your head when you're next to it. So you have to constantly dig around and guess where exactly you're supposed to dig to find the emerald shard. But I got lucky, so I didn't show off how annoying the level potentially could be.
I beg of you, hear me now. My father is coming here soon, and I fear what may happen. You must take everyone away from here.
How does he not recognize the Master Emerald right in front of him? Why is he not guarding it and being annoyed with Tikal for being right in front of it? And is it speaking to her telepathically? I wish we could hear what it's saying.
So,
that would have added a lot to it.
This place? I understand. Let me talk to my father again. There must be a better way to do this.
She's not actually very effective in what she's trying to accomplish.
I won't let you down. I must do something quickly.
And Knuckles proceeds to not give the appropriate reaction at all. How could you not know that's the Master Emerald right in front of you? Quint, wouldn't you have been able to sense the same energy from it?
What? I'm back in front of the altar. This is beginning to blow my mind. Wait a minute.
Which is the closest to appropriate reaction that you're ever going to get to the flashbacks.
I have to restore them to where they belong.
The jungle area with the pyramid in it used to be right across from the Master Emerald in the past. It was only later something happened in the past that caused Angel Island to rise out of the sky and start floating like we know it to. Angel Island used to be just part of the Mystic Ruins, and it was right across from the jungle area. But the Master Emerald decided to rise the island up to protect itself. Either that or it was chaos. I'm not really sure in the details. It's never properly explained.
Hey, look. It's Eggman's flying.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool effect.
That's where the rest of the pieces must be.
Like, if the Master Emerald can show him visions of where the other Master Emerald shards are, you'd think he would have a lot easier time finding them later on. Now, this makes no sense. In Gamma's story, he doesn't go into Red Mountain until later. He's leaving the Red Mountain, but in Gamma's story, when he left the Red Mountain, it was nighttime.
I'll follow it back to Eggman's base. Here I come.
The only explanation I can think of is that Tikal was giving Gamma vision and controlling his body to force him to come here and lead Knuckles to the egg carrier. Yeah, I had a massive brain fart there. I, for some reason, thought that that was the way out of here, and so I went back into Red Mountain by mistake. And because of that, I accidentally showed off the second mission a little bit. The second mission of Knuckles levels is that you have to find the Emerald Shards without using any hitballs whatsoever, which is kind of difficult because just walking into them will cause them to fail you the mission.
Currently in service.
In Lost World, Knuckles is usually confined to the room with the light panel puzzle, but you can actually glitch into Sonic's section of the level. And by doing that, you'll be able to see that these areas are full of objects. The layout you'll see is from a beta version of the stage, and you can tell because a lot of objects are either in different locations or missing or not supposed to be there at all. And I'm really glad that Tikal told you to go to the jungle area every time that you had to go there, because like this game does a pretty good job telling you how you're supposed to progress in the hub worlds. Like, even when you're not being told to by the cutscenes, you can just talk to people and they'll tell you where to go. It's not like in Zelda where a lot of the NPCs just give you useless information. And again, it's weird. I mean, it's not like Gamma was holding Froggy there. So, it couldn't have been he went into the egg carrier when it was rising up. Because I don't know, it's confusing. I guess they forgot to animate him holding Froggy or something. It can get kind of convoluted at times.
Now we'll see who's so easily tricked. I can sense the emeralds are here somewhere.
But you aren't tricking Eggman at all. You're not telling him a lie or anything. Also, that line references a line of Eggman's that he didn't say Knuckles' version of the cutscene. So that confirms that the Knuckles version of the cutscene is not the canon one. So as you can see here, the swimming pool is completely full. It's kind of ironic that Eggman is a fat man, and yet he has a swimming pool to himself. I mean, he is hedonistic and stuff, but swimming is kind of an athletic activity. It also does a good job of contrasting him from Sonic, because Sonic hates water. Always changing, but this is the first time it's ever changed as far as... That must be a mistranslation or something. Either that or breaking the fourth wall, because there's no way that there's no way that this is the first time that you as the player have seen it change. I was trying to show off every other part of the egg carrier, but so many of the doors were annoyingly staying closed. Like, I wanted to show off Eggman's toy room and his room with the slot machines and his room with the bed that you flip over and you get an emblem in it. And there's a tiny miniature Eggmobile that I guess you put a coin in and you just shake it around. Like, there's all sorts of rooms in the egg carrier that I wasn't able to show off because I just got hopelessly lost and didn't know how to get into the doors that led to it. And this level sucks because it's hard to tell exactly how you're supposed to push the lever to get access to those emerald shards right there. It's kind of unintuitive. Like, you have to constantly do trial and error. And of course, this has the exact same camera control problems as Act 3 for Sonic. Why is it affecting the controls of his gliding at all? He's gliding in the air above the egg carrier. I mean, it's not like the egg carrier has its own gravitational pull. So what the hell? He should not be affected by the ship's tilting when he's gliding above it. I got sort of lucky here because I collected 2 of the emerald shards in just under a minute, and I did not do any retakes at all. But it was just this one last emerald that I spent forever getting, because look at how down he goes when he glides. He goes down so heavy that just trying to glide into the emerald shard is a task all by itself. Why is he going down even heavier than normal just because the ship is tilted? It's not like he's walking along the ship and walking down because he's standing on top of it. He's gliding in the air. That should not affect him. Oh, that is so helpful. It's not like I could see that right in front of me. There's actually digging spots in the egg carrier. Like the moving platforms right there, they can move around depending on how the ship is tilted, and then you can dig in the exact center of these large gray spots that are apparently dirt on the egg carrier. Now, why there would be dirt on the egg carrier that you can dig through is beyond me. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put a digging spot in the egg carrier at all. But I didn't cut out any of the footage of finding the emerald shard, specifically because I wanted to show you exactly how tedious it can be at times.
The last missing piece. All right. Now, to restore the master. Huh?
Knuckles gets the most Tikal visions because the whole Echidna's backstory stuff is most relevant to him because he's an Echidna.
Oh no.
But
not
then
again.
why do they not have him appropriately
What is the
react
meaning of this?
to any of this? This is such a missed opportunity. He should be like it would be interesting if he didn't really want to leave the past because he wanted to stay with the Echidnas and study their culture and
What
stuff.
happened here?
I couldn't
But
stop them.
no.
They came, and my father. I had no idea how bad this would turn out. I'm shocked.
Look. it's
So
the
only
emerald.
now does he notice?
Wait.
And after that, he doesn't proceed to talk about it at all.
Is this a dream? It's more like a nightmare.
Not wondering what she's doing in front of his Master Emerald or anything
Your
like that.
friends are in front of the ship fighting. Help them.
I don't know, it just feels like a waste of potential. Like,
I
all of
finally
this
found all of the missing
revelation
emerald
about
pieces,
the Knuckles tribe
but I still can't
backstory.
figure out that creepy
Because,
monster.
yeah, that tribe is called the Knuckles tribe, lazily enough.
What's that?
It's cool and all, but it feels completely divorced from Knuckles' actual character. I love how he made a drowning sound there. It just doesn't feel like you're actually having Knuckles' character deepened or anything. Which is apparently the whole point because of all the visions that he's getting compared to every other character.
Not again! I hate you! Hey, Sonic!
There you are, Knuckles. About time.
Again, in Knuckles' story, Sonic is a lot nicer to
Big
Knuckles.
man, come back.
I'd better let Sonic
And it's weird
handle it
because
here.
you'd think that
You'll
he
be
would view
okay.
Sonic as a jerk because Sonic's always a jerk to
I
him.
must return to
But
Angel
because he's
Island
feeling guilty
and
about fighting
the
him,
Master Emerald.
that's the only explanation I could think of.
No, it can't be.
Kinda makes Sonic's fighting it
I guess he
pointless,
didn't get
doesn't
enough
it?
the first time.
Like, Sonic already beat him, but
You
we
can't
still have to
stop
beat him
me from
again.
restoring the Master Emerald.
Knuckles' fight with this is actually harder. In theory, at least. Because see that black fog? That hurts you. And the floor of the arena will open up constantly and you can fall into it. So in theory, this is a lot more annoying than Sonic's version of this. And I had a lot of trouble with this when I first played it. Took me quite a while. But now that I know a way to cheese it, it's really not that big of a deal. Remember the fighter's gloves that I got earlier? Well, here's why you need to get them. It doesn't kill in one hit, unfortunately, but yeah, I don't know why that happened. I guess I guess you're able to move out of the way after that. After that, I haven't talked yet about how exactly the light speed attack controls. Basically, you use it on enemies and you start going around them in a circle. Well, it turns out you can actually control Sonic while he's moving around in a circle with light speed attack. And you can use the control stick to aim Sonic so that he hits certain enemies. And that applies to the sequel as well. So maybe this control is sort of like that, and you just hold down to avoid getting killed by it. Like, I don't know how I died there.
Yeah, you're finished.
So I'm guessing the egg carrier crashed into the ocean, and Chaos crashed into along with it, but because it's a water being, it just swam through the ocean just fine, and got to the Mystic Ruins later on. So Knuckles' story ends a lot earlier than Sonic's does. Because Sonic goes through Lost World and then Final Egg. Knuckles is already over. So I'm guessing the shards of the Master Emerald magically fused with his aura, and that's why they just appeared in front of him. Because otherwise he wouldn't be able to hold all of them and carry them with him wherever he goes.
This should do it. Perfect. All is well now. The Master Emerald and the island have been restored.
I'm gonna walk slowly away from it for no reason at all. And with that, the island rises back into the sky. And again, the archaeologists were saying in the Mystic Ruins that they were baffled that that mountain just came out of nowhere. And the mountain they were referring to was the one with the tunnel that was leading up to the windy area that sent you eventually to Ice Cap. Because there are still people out there, even to this day, who think that Angel Island only consists of
be
this
on this
part.
floating island forever.
Yeah, right. Nope, you're not going to be.
Guarding the Master Emerald again.
Because in later games, he's not nearly as dedicated to staying in front of the Master Emerald doing nothing his whole
I
life.
may not know the whole story behind this,
No, we don't.
but perhaps it's better that way.
Glares at the Archie
I'm at
comics.
peace once more.
So that was Knuckles' story. And again, it entirely depends on luck, whether you mostly have fun with it, or if you think it's a tedious chore that you just want to end. Because it's entirely randomized where the Master Emerald shards can appear, and sometimes they can appear in really annoying places. Like, there's this one Master Emerald shard in Casinopolis that apparently is to the east of the vault, past the wall. Apparently there's some sort of hidden room to the east of the vault, but I have no idea how to get to it. So every time I get that one emerald shard in Casinopolis, I always end up quitting the level and getting into it again. Occasionally you'll have an instance where you get an emerald shard in such an annoying place, and you spend such a long time searching for that last emerald shard that you just give up and try again. It's annoying digging for emerald shards because, well, when you're using an Xbox controller, which I was forced to do for the better SADX version of this, it's a lot easier to dig, because you just press A and B at the same time. I guess something about the way that the GameCube controller's buttons are, I think they're higher up from the controller. It's just really awkward to dig in this game, especially since you don't know exactly where to dig sometimes. I mean, sometimes Knuckles' story can be fun for the most part. For the most part, I had a lot of fun playing this for the Let's Play. Like, I completed most of the levels really quickly, even the ones that normally gave me trouble. But Skydeck has an annoying tilted ship gimmick, and the vertical levels, the radar doesn't really do well with, because it only tells you if the emerald is close to you on the Z and Y. It doesn't do well with the Y-axis. It does well with the Z and X-axis, but if an emerald is right above you, you just have to climb up the wall in that one spot to get up to it, then you're not going to know that. So you're going to end up going through the entire level, especially in Red Mountain, because that level's huge, and if you get unlucky and all of the emerald shards happen to spawn in one place, you're going to spend forever looking for them. So, I sort of consider this to be a good story, but only if you're lucky. As for the story itself, well, as I said before, Knuckles gets the most Tikal visions out of any character, because the Echidna stuff is relevant to him. But it doesn't really matter, because he doesn't properly react to any of the visions at all. He doesn't see, oh, other Echidnas! That's amazing! I want to get to know these people. I want to get to know their culture. He doesn't go, oh, these Echidnas are warmongers. Maybe I should feel kind of bad about being an Echidna. He doesn't wish that he wasn't the last Echidna anymore. He doesn't care about Tikal and everything that's happened to the Echidnas. And it doesn't really answer the question that everyone was asking in the first place. Everyone always wondered, who raised Knuckles? I mean, at first, we always knew that he was the last Echidna, but nobody ever knew, like everyone before this just assumed that he was alone because his parents were raising him, but then they died and left him an orphan. And that made sense. But then this came, it developed the Echidnas, but at the same time made things a little more muddled and confusing, because now we know that the Echidnas have last been around for hundreds of years before this. So, then who raised Knuckles? If his parents could have only existed hundreds of years in the past, then how could have Knuckles... Because there's no way that Knuckles just hatched from his egg, immediately capable of guarding the Master Emerald. So we still have no idea who raised him. We don't really know his origins, his backstory, anything like that. And Knuckles doesn't care about any of this. He doesn't care about any of the revelations about how the Echidna tribe was. So, I mean, it's cool and all that we see them and see explanations of the tribe, but it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't answer the question that we actually cared about. But anyways, that was Knuckles' story. And in the next part, we'll be going to the worst part of the game. Well, Amy's story really isn't so bad, but it's all downhill from here.